It's time to break down the latest chapter of JoJo Part 9, the JoJoLands, where today we have Chapter 37, Usagi, Fraud and Suspicion, Part 5, which is shaped up to be a pretty massive arc to kick off Act 2 of JoJoLands. Although with the latest developments, it looks like we are finally coming to its end, as Araki delivered an insanely packed chapter this month full of action, twist turns, and resolutions. And by the end of it all, we come face to face with this enemy stand user who has actually been hiding among us this whole time, and we get a brand new music reference to add to the ever-growing JoJo reference compendium. But before we jump right into this chapter, a word from this video's sponsor, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit is the highly anticipated cross-generation JoJo RPG that's available for pre-registration now on iOS and Android. In Golden Spirit, you'll get to build your very own dream team full of JoJo's iconic characters spanning the beloved cast of parts 1 through 6. You'll be able to freely create a 5-character squad, mixing and matching all different abilities from all different eras of JoJo. Try bringing along all of the villains and see how their time-based powers work together. Make a team full of JoJo's gunslingers, or combine the elements and dominate with fire and ice. Have you ever just wondered what the most powerful group of stand users would be? Now's your chance to find out and try all kinds of combinations to make your JoJo dream team. Here's a squad I put together full of just some of my favorite characters. And when you find the perfect squad, put it to the test in battle and even share it online for others to see. You can pre-register right now on iOS and Android using the link in the description and pinned comment. And pre-registration milestone rewards will unlock as more players join globally, like in-game currency and a rare Joseph Joestar, and players who participate early will also receive exclusive rewards at launch. So check out the links and create your very own dream team in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit. And now let's get into this latest chapter, starting with the cover page, where we see Dragona's smooth operators trying to slide the enemy stand, which manifests as these stickers that have been showing up on our cast throughout the arc. So pretty light on the extra illustrations this month, no Ultra Jump cover or new volume, so we can just move right into the action. Turning the page, we see Usagi's Mate Kudasai begin to transform into those lithium-ion batteries Jodio had requested at the end of the last chapter, where we saw him jump into the lion enclosure with this pretty bizarre plan to remove the stickers by feeding his foot to a lion while throwing batteries in their mouths, hoping to ignite a fire that will burn off the stickers. I seriously had my doubts about this plan, as it didn't seem that clever or like a big brain JoJo play, and we'll see soon enough how this plays out. But the reasoning behind the plan is that if you try to remove the stickers yourself, it triggers an attack from the ghost that torments you from feelings within your heart, because the stand detects intention. So it's one of those situations where we need to find a way to fight it indirectly, and Jodio thinks the best solution was lions, and this pride of lions are of course one of the standout elements of this chapter, as we spend most of it within this enclosure and fighting them off, so we get to see Araki depict these animals in all sorts of funky ways. The first bit of the chapter puts the focus on Jodio and Paco versus the lions, which makes for some amazing art and action. Paco once again just punching animals 5 times his size and weight. This dude has been at the zoo for call it 15 minutes and has already suplexed a crocodile and punched a lion in the face. No one in JoJo is moving like Paco. So through Paco's brute force and Jodio's November Rain, which was abbreviated to NVR in this chapter, which I thought sounded pretty cool, the two finally get a lion in position to enact the battery plan, with Jodio shoving his foot into a lion's mouth, but turns out this was all for nothing, as the enemy's attack still triggers and recognizes Jodio's actions as a means to remove the sticker. This attack explores the psychological effects of Jodio's antisocial personality diagnosis, as the stand grabs onto a seed or insecurity within one's mind and extrapolates the thoughts and feeding negativity, almost like a manifestation or amplification of one's anxiety, as the evil spirit insinuates that Jodio just wants to hurt animals because he's a psycho. And maybe that's where the idea for this plan truly came from, and continues to emphasize that Jodio is not normal, revealing that he was still wetting the bed until just recently and reveled in lighting the bus on fire when he was a kid. So to some extent, these are thoughts inside Jodio's mind, doubts and fears about himself that the enemy uses to torment the psyche. And more so than just feeding and uncovering negative emotions, in an almost Heaven's Door-esque way, the stand is trying to read Jodio's heart, as while he's caught in this attack, it almost looks like the enemy is scanning Jodio, trying to find the answer to Rohan's secret message, which was apparently already deep within Jodio's heart. He just has to realize what that means. Jodio then tries to swipe his hand back, but is attacked by the stand and concludes the haunting, I guess you could call these short instances, and the cut makes Jodio drop the batteries and foils his plan, so now we are just deep in the lion's den with a foot in its mouth. Luckily, it only gets away with his shoe, and we see similar to Dragona, when Jodio's shoe is removed, the sticker just appears on the bottom of his foot, so it's physically tethered to the body, which gives Jodio another genius genius plan to burn the flesh right off of his foot if he can get one of these lions to start a fire. Although Dragona protests this whole plan, not agreeing that it's a good idea, and warns JoJo that smooth operators can only slide wounds that are 7mm deep. That's about the size of a pea, so a Fane bite would be unrepairable. We then see JoJo and Paco are still being haunted by the spirits who say they are at point blank range, and later on in the chapter, the user calls the ability point blank stickers. So it looks like this stand name is in reference to the Bruce Springsteen song Point Blank, which would be the artist's third reference within this part, previously represented by the villain Bobby Jean and Glory Days. The chapter then shifts focus to Usagi, who's overlooking the enclosure when unexpectedly his mother, Allison, appears frantically searching the zoo map and running off with her luggage. So Usagi is finally able to confront his mother, who has been missing for 3 days now during this whole storyline. But before they are really able to talk to each other, Allison is affected by point blank, and this corpse who appears behind her is actually Usagi's father. So the stand doesn't need to always use the corpses of those nearby, but I guess can just manifest anyone who has died within the target's heart. As if you remember much earlier in the part, Usagi had mentioned that him and his mother get by due to an insurance payout when his father was hit by a bus and died. This scene with the father also reveals that Allison may have been unfaithful and was seeing this Max character for a long time, even before the father died, which I've seen some fans theorize that Max might even be Usagi's real father, which could explain some of that resentment the mother has towards Usagi and why she seems to neglect him. So we don't have the full picture yet, but we know that shortly after Allison abandoned Usagi, she was hiding out at Max's house with Tori, and Max was that man found dead on the sofa. So now those raunchy remarks he made about Usagi's mom make more sense. The spirit also reveals that Tori has gone missing and Allison is looking around for her. We then see the point blank stickers manifest on Allison's hands and she is forced into the lion's den. JoJo and Paco watch this happen and experience a haunting one more time, where the enemy reveals that this ability acts as a boundary between this world and the next, allowing those afflicted to see ghosts. So a little bit of afterlife elements at play here, which was a greatly explored concept in the original universe that we haven't seen much of in the alternate. So I always wondered if ghosts existed in the same capacity in this world as well, and this stand is giving us a hint of that, but it's definitely controlling the ghosts because they're all extremely cruel. Meanwhile, we get this amazing Usagi moment where he jumps into the lion's den to save his mother, kneeing a lion in the face, and I just found this very cathartic to finally see Usagi have this heroic moment trying to save his mom after all he's been going through to find her, although he will have to pay a price for this and is bitten on the foot by one of the lions, which makes JoJo and Paco think their plan can still work and they toss batteries towards Usagi. And then we have maybe the funniest panel in the entire part, I thought at least, where the batteries completely miss, smashing off of Usagi's chest and the lion just rips his foot off and runs away. Pretty funny resolution where the plan doesn't work at all, but through sheer stupidity they still kinda win, because now Usagi is freed from the sticker, as he really was only trying to save his mother and not intentionally putting his foot in a lion's mouth like JoJo. So I guess now Usagi is just missing a foot, but he's able to remove everyone else's stickers, which are gathered together and aura-ora'd by Paco, which begin to spew blood, revealing that the stickers themselves are the stand and damage is transferable to the user. Meanwhile, the only one left with a sticker is Dragona, who is atop the lion enclosure away from the group, but is able to notice an ambulance nearby carting people away and suspects that it must be the stand user who is injured. And we see Dragona among the police and paramedics, which is a bit unnerving, as remember, a lot of the villains and just general antagonists of this part are servants of these institutions, like police, lawyers, firefighters, so it's likely this new enemy could also continue that theme of institutional corruption, but at the very least represents a societal evil, being an online scammer. And within the final pages of the chapter, the stand user reveals themselves, hiding among the crowd, and is able to get the drop on Dragona and hold them hostage with a curved blade. Although without much trouble, Dragona is easily able to use smooth operators to disfigure the enemy's face and hopefully put an end to the point blank stickers. So within the next chapter, granted we don't get arrested by all these police nearby or anything, we should be able to all regroup and get some answers out of this enemy. Even the final words of this chapter, Dragona says that they're gonna be feeding their tongue and eyeballs to a flamingo. So I wonder if we're gonna get an alternate universe torture dance next month. And as for the enemy stand user's design, I think it's cool. The skin tone, bald head, and markings remind me a bit of Liam Shibane. And have you guys noticed that in part 9 so far, Araki has really been into drawing characters with face markings, which could very well be inspired by Hawaiian culture. And the hoodie with spiky hair definitely gives off menacing vibes. So really all that's left is to find out what this guy knows about the lava rock and where did Usagi's sister Tori run off to. So thank you all so much for watching another JoJoLands chapter review. Please drop a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more JoJo content, and check out the video sponsor Golden Spirit, which is available for pre-registration now. Talk to you all real soon in my next video. Peace.